And it's Mr. Lloyd, please, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the witnesses for coming today, ministers. You know, building resiliency for natural resources, natural disasters, building resilience against cybersecurity, these are things I think all Canadians and all parties can get behind. We know that there needs to be increased investment in cybersecurity and resiliency, but something that both ministers said today kind of gave me some pause when they referred to this bill as giving the government, in their words, emergency powers and extraordinary powers. And I think it's very concerning to Canadians to want to know, why does the government need, quote, emergency powers and extraordinary powers when we're really talking about trying to boost resiliency against natural disasters and trying to get companies to invest more in cybersecurity? Why does the government require legislation that gives them the power to conduct courts in secret, to announce legislation or block people from being part of the telecommunications sector in secret? Why are these emergency powers, why are they needed when what we need to do is get more investment in cybersecurity?
Well, I'll be happy to respond to that. First, thank you to say this is not a partisan issue. I mean, I think, like you said, we're all trying to do the best thing. I'll give you a very concrete example. If we were to find that there's a breach, in 5G, you have to, I think everyone would agree that this is going to be very decentralized. When you go from 4G to 5G, it's a different world. We're not in the same kind of network because the future would be that you have intelligent products so that everything is interconnected. If we were to find that there is a failure or an intrusion in the network that could have a systemic effect in that, you would want the Minister of Industry in the future to be able to say, you stop or we disconnect that particular person or entity which is the source of the infection of the entire network, which could have a systemic effect. So the kind of power you need, you need to act very, very quickly because you're talking about...
Why do you need secret courts, Minister?
Well, I'll tell you, it's very simple. Because you would not want the actors, which are the ones who are trying to infiltrate our system, to be aware that you're asking them to plug the gap.
What are you going to put in to ensure that these powers are not abused? I mean, we've had lots of witnesses talk about how concerned they are about these powers, and you call them emergency powers.
People should
be concerning.
People should be equally concerned that today, imagine, the Minister of Industry doesn't have the power to ask that particular entity to plug, for example, that failure in their system that could have a systemic effect that could affect millions of Canadians. So I would say the check and balance in that, and I would say as a lawyer, you have judicial review, and under judicial review, you have proportionality, you have the Charters of Right and Freedom. All of these bills and legislation. The
Privacy Commissioner has stated that there isn't proportionality in this bill. What can we do to bring more proportionality to this bill?
Well, I would say under judicial review, as you know, it's well established in jurisprudence that you need to have proportionality in terms of the act of the government. But I think you should see it in a positive way. Imagine the reverse of not having the power, and you come to know that there's true 5G, that somewhere in the network, someone is infiltrating that could have a systemic effect that could be damaging both economically or millions of Canadians. I think about the reverse.
Thank you, Minister. I only have about a minute and a half left, but thank you for that.